very warm welcome. You're watching the News Hour Special Edition with me, Priya Behel. And now the Congress and Rahul Gandhi have on multiple occasions made their demand for a caste census and writing historical caste-based inequalities their top political focus. But has that switch come at the cost of party's ever-present secular agenda? It appears there may be an element of conflict in this regard, with senior Congress leader Digvijay Singh sparking a controversy with his comments comparing the Muslim community with the scheduled castes and scheduled tribes over their literacy levels and corresponding representation in government jobs. The former Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister was speaking at a meeting with the office bearers of Association of Muslim Professionals in Bhopal. He said Muslims were underrepresented in government jobs when compared to SC/ST communities, even though both have almost similar levels of literacy.
आज भी हमारे आबादी के केवल 74% मुस्लिम लिटरेट हैं और महिलाएं लगभग 60% से कम हैं। और ये काफी शेड्यूल्ड कास्ट से शेड्यूल्ड ट्राइब्स के भी अगर आप लेंगे तो उनके लगभग बराबर हो जाते हैं। लेकिन सरकारी नौकरियों में शेड्यूल्ड कास्ट और शेड्यूल्ड ट्राइब से हमारे मुस्लिम्स भी बहुत नीचे हैं। ये हम सब लोगों के लिए चिंता का विषय है।
Now, the BJP is latching on to Digvijay Singh's assessment, accusing the Congress of having a hidden agenda behind the caste census pitch. The BJP is implying that the Congress aims to take away the rights from the SC/ST communities and give it instead to the Muslims, who they consider their dedicated vote bank. They claim this issue has previously been highlighted in Congress's manifesto as well. MP BJP chief V.D. Sharma trained his guns at Digvijay Singh as well and reminded him of what former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh had said about minorities, especially Muslims, having the first right to nation's resources, to corroborate his point of Congress's caste deceit being exposed.
You know, definitely it is a matter of concern and all parties should give serious thought to it. But not only in government jobs. My suggestion is, even in parliament and even in assemblies, percentage of Muslim leaders, members have been declining continuously.
दिग्विजय सिंह जी, आप अगर उन दलित भाइयों का, अनुसूचित जनजाति और अनुसूचित जाति के भाई और बहनों को हक को छीन करके मुसलमानों को देने के लिए ये आपके जो प्रयास है, तो मैं आपके उस पौरसित्व को भी चैलेंज करता हूं। आप हमेशा से कहते रहे, कांग्रेस के अंदर आपके प्रधानमंत्री ने कहा कि पहला हक मुसलमानों का है। आपके कांग्रेस के बड़े नेता ही कहते रहे कि आरक्षण में मुसलमानों को आरक्षण देना यानी अनुसूचित जाति जनजाति भाइयों का हक छीनना।
So who exactly is to blame for Muslims' literacy rate in this case? The party who's been in power for almost 6 decades or the party that has been in power for 2 terms? More jobs for Muslims are being promised and assured, but at whose cost? Does this comment expose Congress's Muslim-first ideology as is being alleged by the BJP? Is the Congress coming out to champion the cause of SC/ST welfare just a facade, while the real agenda is working only for the minority vote bank? And is Rahul Gandhi's caste census pitch then just a facade? Or do these allegations only work in BJP's favor and go on to show that the BJP governments, at least in the last 2 terms, have actually worked towards empowering SCs and STs, because of which they have managed to get more jobs? To help us answer those questions, we are now joined on the broadcast by Shehzad Poonawalla, who is BJP spokesperson. Abhishek Sudhir, political analyst, also joins us. Akhilesh Katyar of the Samajwadi Party, he's the national spokesperson, is with us. Tausif Ahmed Khan, who's a lawyer and political analyst, and Lokesh Jindal, political analyst, is joining us on the broadcast. Lokesh Jindal, my first question to you. Digvijay Singh says that the SCs and STs and Muslims are at par when it comes to literacy rates, but the jobs for Muslims are lesser. Who do you think is to blame for this?
Well, good evening, everybody. See, if you're talking about the present demographic status of literacy, especially for the Muslims, there are historical factors that are responsible along with social and economic factors. So the approach so as to bring about upliftment of such a large section of a minority population is a bit distinct, I would say differs from that towards SCs and the STs. It requires a political will, a social reform, along with economic measures so as to uplift the population, and a lot of work has been done since independence. But then, since the last 1 decade, we have seen that there is a political hesitation and targeting towards one particular community in the form of hijab, in the form of targeting the madrasas,
Government
targeting
jobs.
them. If you're
Lokesh.
talking, see, how can you expect somebody to perform well in government competitive examination when a person is being deprived of basic educational standards and educational accessibility?
But that's
If
not
on a
what Digvijay
simple-
Singh is saying. I'm not even going into the fact of whether that is true or not. I'm just saying that Digvijay Singh is saying that despite having similar literacy rates, Muslims have lesser jobs. It is a matter of concern. Yes, it is a matter of concern, but how is that concern to be addressed and who is to be blamed for that concern?
Well, the political dispensation
From
needs to
when?
think over it.
You said
Needs
you
to
started
think
by
over
saying
it.
it's a historical issue. How far back in history are you willing to go?
Well, we can go back to a large time frame, but the point that I would like to emphasize upon is that the political scenario has alienated the Muslims from the mainstreams, and they are hesitant to enter the government services. That is something that is a writing on the wall, and we cannot deny that. The
Wait,
manner in which
are they
the
not
manner
getting
in which-
opportunities, or are they hesitant, or I'm not getting your point. I'm sorry.
I'll come to it. The manner in which a political targeting is being done towards one particular community, the manner in which some form of a tagging takes place, a stigma is associated with it. Do you expect the people from that community to find themselves at par with all others with respect to public services and performing their role in administration? The answer is no.
I don't know if it is about expectations or the opportunities being given, but Shehzad, would you like to counter that?
Wait.
It is because of the environment that is being created, which is why Muslims are dissuaded. They're not encouraged because they are being tagged, targeted, persecuted. They don't want to go into government jobs. And that is the BJP's fault.
I hope now Mr. Lokesh will not interrupt me because I'm on a bad connection and I heard him out courteously and patiently. If this is tagging and targeting that is being done, would he categorize what Anirudh Singh said in the Himachal Pradesh Assembly, that the masjid is illegal and love jihad is happening and there's a demographic change happening, as also targeting? Or is it only when a BJP leader says the truth, it is targeting, and when the Congress person says the same truth, then it is to be accepted? Point number one. Point number two, Lokesh's words, opening words, this is a historical issue. Now, if this is a historical issue, who out of the 75 years ruled this country for the last 60 years? Point number three, let me give you two examples. Gujarat, BJP has been in power for a very long period of time. Bengal, BJP has never been in power. Gujarat, 9.2% Muslim population, share in public sector jobs, 9.2%. Bengal, share in public sector jobs, 2%, population, 25%. So therefore, it is a historical issue, and who's not addressed it by the data that is available? The Congress party. But having said that, let me tell you the real intent behind what Digvijay Singh is saying. Digvijay Singh is not saying this because he really thinks that Muslims are not getting opportunities, etc. By the way, Muslim literacy rate is more than the SC/ST literacy rate, 80.6 for Muslim men, SC is 80.3, and ST is 78. That's not the point. The point is that this is a background being made to, in the name of caste census, grab away the rights of SC/ST and give it to the Muslims. Let me give you three concrete examples. Example number one, they've done this in Karnataka, where they took the OBC Arakshan, gave it to the Muslims. Example number two, in Bengal, out of the 77 lists, 75 were Muslims. The High Court rejected it. Example number three, the NC is now saying we want 370 back. You know, for the first time, the Valmiki Samaj of Jammu Kashmir has got the reservation rights. But while you put 370 back, you will be taking away the Valmiki's rights. And guess who it will go to? So therefore, this is a standard operating procedure. Let me give you one more example because let's make it more concrete. You know, in the Ranganath Mishra report, the Congress party in the UPA era, which it accepted, said that the SC, ST and OBC reservation should be carved and a specific portion should be given to the Muslims on the basis of religion. This is both against Ambedkar's constitution. Religious reservations are completely not allowed. And this is, in fact, snatching from the SC, ST, OBC and giving to the Muslims, which they've done, by the way, in Jamia and AMU too. If they are against this, they should tell us why not have SC, ST reservation in Jamia and AMU. Ask the Samajwadi Party. Does he support Jamia SC/ST reservation? Does he support AMU SC/ST reservation? The Congress Party removed it and they said that the Muslims are too backward, therefore we won't give it to SC/ST.
Lokesh?
Well, my friend Shahzad is not aware. He need to read the Mandal Commission judgment by the Supreme Court, where it has clearly laid down guidelines whereby a minority community, the religious identity can be considered as a criteria so as to avail the benefits under Article 16, Clause 4. You may read the Mandal judgment.
Be that as it may,
And secondly,
Lokesh,
when
but
you're
is it
talking about
or is it not true that
secondly, when you're talking about the reservation,
the Ranganath Mishra report, Ranganath Mishra, by the way, for the uninitiated, was a Congress Rajya Sabha MP. And did he or did he not recommend that a separate quota be carved out from the OBC share for the Muslims?
Well, the issue of OBCs with respect within the OBC, within the Muslims within the OBC has been extensively dealt in successive Supreme Court judgment, and Supreme Court has come out very clean with respect to that. It has stated that if the center or the state comes out with a rational principle whereby it states that they were socially and educationally marginalized, they are entitled to avail
and when you speak of rational principle, sometimes the rational, actually mostly the rational seems to be politics and vote bank, because Tausif Ahmed Khan, is that not exactly what happened with the TMC in West Bengal, something that the matter that is right now pending in the Supreme Court, where TMC had decided that 75 of the 77 categories to be included in the OBC list would be Muslims. But while I mention that as a context, I want to circle back to my main question. What is it, if not an attempt to appease the Muslim vote bank while taking away the rights that are of the SC/STs at a time when, right from Rahul Gandhi to every other top leader of the Congress, says that we are the flag bearers of justice for SC/ST and OBC and we are going to get a caste census done?
Look, country will not prosper if 30% of its population is left secluded and is not helped to join the mainstream and is not equally represented in job sector, in education sector, and everywhere.
Yes,
now,
but at the cost of SC/STs? Right now, as is being suggested by Digvijay Singh, or at the cost of OBCs, as was suggested by Ranganath Mishra Commission?
No, look, it is a fact that Muslims are unrepresented, and any leader who speaks
so are SCs and STs.
Bringing Muslims back on the track, the BJP calls them a Muslim appeasement politics. Even assume that it is a appeasement politics, it is better than the Hindu appeasement politics that BJP does by demolishing madrasas, by lynching the Muslims, by alienating Muslims.
But Tausif, pardon me interjecting, but Digvijay Singh drew an equivalence. He did not say that my heart bleeds for Muslims who, despite having a certain literacy rate, do not have the same representation in jobs. He said, and he clearly pitted them against the SC/STs. He said that even though they have similar literacy levels, Muslims have lesser jobs. It is his equivalence. The TMC ally Congress party's very senior leader's equivalence.
You see, you are free to interpret his
No, I'm not interpreting.
Whichever way you want.
This is not reading between the lines. This is just spelling out what he said.
Okay, allow me to speak. Come on. No, the reason he equated the SC/ST percentage with the Muslim representation is because SC/ST is historically considered to be backward classes, and which Muslims were not. And over the last, decades or so, the representation has fallen down, which kind of evidences the fact that Muslims are lagging even behind the SC and ST. That was the purpose, so that these anti-hate campaign. I'll give you just one example. The minority department is there, but BJP government does not even have appointed the officials in the minority department. They do not even function. And what is this minority department have such an important role? There are several institutions.
Absolutely, but I think we'll be digressing from our point of debate over here. But let me on the matter of data and numbers come to you, Abhishek Sudhir. As an academic, I tried looking high and low for the data of how many Muslims are there in government jobs versus how many SC/STs are there. Is what Digvijay Singh saying factually correct, irrespective of what the interpretation of that outcome is?
Well, Digvijay Singh is speaking of literacy. Now, I think Mr. Poonawalla gave out the literacy figures. But even if we were to take Mr. Digvijay Singh at face value, I would like to talk about education. We're all aware that in this country, minorities have complete control over their educational institutions. This is a constitutional right that the minorities of India are given, whereby they can administer their own educational institutions. In these educational institutions, there is no SC, ST or OBC reservation. 50% of seats are reserved for minorities. The other 50% can go to a general category, but minority institutions have consistently refused to implement SC, ST, OBC reservations in their minority institutions. You look at Jamia Millia Islamia, one of the largest universities in the country. It has been set up by an act of parliament. 1988, there was an act of parliament passed for Jamia Millia Islamia. Jamia Millia Islamia was declared a minority institution in 2011 by the Congress-led UPA government. Now, what is Jamia Millia doing in blatant and flagrant violations of its constitutional obligations and a notification issued by the University Grants Commission, UGC, in 2019? Jamia Millia Islamia is refusing to implement EWS quota, economically weaker sections quota, saying we are a minority institution. So Digvijay Singh wants Hindus to be deprived of admission, SC, STs and OBCs to be deprived of admission in minority institutions like Jamia Millia. Then he wants Hindus to give up their reservation for Muslims in Banaras Hindu University. I mean, how is this fair? Look, let's look at Pakistan. To take Lokesh's point, let's look at Pakistan. There is no Hindu majority in Pakistan to suppress the Muslims. Right? Look at the state of that country. That is a Muslim majority country. That is the Islamic Republic of Pakistan. There are no Hindus, suppressing the majority there. In fact, the Hindus are being suppressed over there. Now look at the state of that country. Literacy improves when you stop clinging to religious dogma. Literacy improves when you accept scientific progress. Literacy improves when development becomes the cornerstone and the governing philosophy of your nation. Not saying Ahmadiyas are not Muslims. This is what happens in Pakistan. Look at the abysmal rate of tax collections in Pakistan. Look at India. We have all the top companies in this country. A new vehicle, a new model is released every day. We have a thriving automotive industry. Why? Because religion is not the cornerstone of our governing philosophy. It's development. The Congress party is to blame for the poor literacy amongst the Muslims. Muslims don't vote for the BJP. They vote for Congress, they vote for Samajwadi Party. If today the Muslims are suffering, it's because the leaders that they vote for of the India bloc have consistently over decades and decades let them down. We gave them a separate nation. We gave them a separate nation called Pakistan. Look at the state of that nation. It's abysmal.
One by one. See, nobody can deny the fact that yes, Muslim community, when it comes to whether it is poverty or literacy, they are the least literate group amongst all the minorities as well. They might be doing slightly better when it compares to ST/STs, but still there is a lot to catch up on. However, to the point being raised by Abhishek Sudhir there, Akhilesh Katiyar, अगर आज ये हालत है मुस्लिम्स की और माइनॉरिटीज़ की, तो क्या वही पार्टियां इसकी जिम्मेदार नहीं हैं जो पिछले 60 साल से उनसे वोट तो ले रही हैं बट उनकी भलाई के लिए कुछ नहीं कर पा रही हैं?
ये जो सच्चर कमेटी का गठन किया था वो भी 2005 में कांग्रेस सरकार ने किया था. मैं इस बात से पूरी तरह इनकार भी नहीं करता हूं जो आपका सवाल है, लेकिन इसके बाद जो रिपोर्ट आई उसमें ये बात कही गई कि मुस्लिम समाज की हालत क्या है, कैसी स्थिति में मुस्लिम समाज, उनके शिक्षा का क्या है, नौकरियों का क्या है, व्यापार का क्या है. इसके बाद रंगनाथ मिश्रा जो कमीशन बना उसमें उन्होंने जातीय भेदभाव के बारे में भी बात करी. उन्होंने कहा कि वहां अशराफ समाज के लोग हैं, अर्जाल हैं, अब ये अलग अलग कैटेगरी बताई, और दलित पिछड़े मुसलमानों के साथ भी जिस तरीके का भेदभाव है और उसको दूर करने का भी रास्ता रंगनाथ मिश्रा जी ने कहा कि भाई इनको भी मिलना चाहिए. मेरे नेता माननीय अखिलेश यादव जी ने साफ कहा कि भाई जाति जनगणना करके जिसकी जितनी संख्या भारी है जातियों के अनुसार उसे कर दिया जाए। जब 2008 में ये रिपोर्ट आई तो मल्टी सेक्टोरियल डेवलपमेंट प्लान बना था और करीब 3,800 करोड़ का बजट भी दिया गया था कि अलग अलग जहां पे मुस्लिम डोमिनेटिंग एरिया है उस पे कैसे कैसे काम हो। और बाद में मोदी सरकार के आने के बाद 2022 में सुप्रीम कोर्ट के रिटायर्ड जज हैं बालाकृष्णन साहब, उनके नेतृत्व में कमेटी बनाएगी, उसका कोई रिपोर्ट अभी तक नहीं है। तो मुस्लिम समाज क्योंकि भारत की आबादी का एक बड़ा हिस्सा है और अगर वो पीछे रहता है उसमें विकास की पूरी हम हिस्सेदारी वहां तक नहीं पहुंचा पाते हैं तो निश्चित तौर पे देश के लिए भी अच्छा नहीं है, समाज के लिए भी अच्छा
नहीं। वो तो आपकी बात समझ में आई, वो तो ऑब्वियसली देश के लिए अच्छा नहीं है, चाहे उसकी 1% पॉपुलेशन, चाहे वो किसी भी कास्ट रिलीजन की हो, अगर वो पीछे जाती है। बट गलती किसकी है? आपकी खुद की, जो आपने 2 रिपोर्ट साइट की 2005, 2006, 2007, रंगनाथ मिश्रा और सच्चर कमेटी रिपोर्ट। उसके बाद क्या किया कांग्रेस की सरकारों ने? सच्चर कमेटी रिपोर्ट, यस। उसके बाद क्या किया गवर्नमेंट इन पावर ने? 6 साल तो उसके बाद बीजेपी नहीं थी।
इस बात ये
और आज अगर क्या आप इस बात से, जो आप अखिलेश यादव जी की पार्टी से हैं, जो पीडीए की बात करते हैं, तो क्या ये प्यार जो दिग्विजय सिंह का दिख रहा है, जो कह रहे हैं कि SC/ST के पास नौकरियां ज्यादा हैं, मुस्लिम्स के पास कम है, आर यू ओके विद taking away the jobs from SC/STs and giving them to Muslims to balance this out for this parity that Digvijay Singh is talking about?
ये इस नजरिए से नहीं देखना। नहीं।
मैं नहीं देख रही हूँ सर, दिग्विजय सिंह देख रहे हैं, आपके अलायंस के बहुत ही शीर्ष नेता देख रहे हैं, मैं नहीं देख रही हूँ।
लेकिन
आप ही उनको बोलिए कि नहीं देखना चाहिए।
मैं आपको ये कहूं कि SC/ST को हिस्सेदारी कौन सी मिल गई है? रिजर्वेशन में पिछड़ों के अभी तक हिस्सेदारी कहां पे है? और दलित वर्सेस मुस्लिम नहीं है, ये मुस्लिम समाज पीछे है। और इसमें आपने जो कहा ये बात सच है, काफी हद तक इस बात के लिए कांग्रेस जिम्मेदार रही है। इस बात को कांग्रेस का शासनकाल लंबे समय तक रहा है। उनकी योजनाएं अगर प्रभावशाली होती तो निश्चित तौर पे मुस्लिम समाज की स्थिति कुछ और होती। लेकिन अब पिछले 10 साल से तो मोदी सरकार सत्ता में है। आपने 2022 जो ये मल्टी सेक्टोरियल डेवलपमेंट प्लान था जिसमें लगभग 4,000 करोड़ का बजट था, वो बजट भी आपने बंद कर दिया। एक कमेटी बना दी, उसकी रिपोर्ट भी नहीं लाए। तो अब 10 साल से आप शासन काल में हैं और पूरे देश की सरकार चला रहे हैं, तो उनके विकास के लिए भी तो योजनाएं इंप्लीमेंट करें, बनाएं और समाज को विकास के रास्ते पे ले जाए।
शहजाद,
First of all, I think apart from Tausif, I'm the only Muslim. So 2 Muslim panelists. I am not aware, and Tausif will confirm what I'm saying, कि मुस्लिम समाज में जाति और मुस्लिम समाज में जातीय भेदभाव, भाई हम तो कहते हैं पूरी दुनिया के मुसलमान एक कौम है, उम्मा करते हैं हम लोग। ये जातीय भेदभाव कहां से आ गया? हाँ, वर्गों का भेदभाव हो सकता है, जातियों का भेदभाव, अगर जातियों का भेदभाव है तो फिर धर्मांतरण का कानून लाने पर विरोध क्यों करते हैं? क्योंकि अगर कोई कहता है कि यहां पर आने से सारे भेदभाव मिट जाते हैं तो ये तो बड़ा झूठ है। तो धर्मांतरण कानून आने दीजिए, एंटी कन्वर्जन लॉ आने दीजिए। दूसरी बात मैं पूछना चाहता हूं, अगर मुस्लिमों में जाति है तो समाजवादी पार्टी ऑफिशियली बोले आज कास्ट सेंसस मुस्लिम का भी होना चाहिए कि नहीं होना चाहिए? और बताइए कर्नाटक और हिमाचल में मुस्लिम कास्ट सेंसस कब कराओगे? और तीसरी बात, इन्होंने कहा दलित वर्सेस मुस्लिम है ही नहीं। चलिए मैं तीनों को एक अवसर देता हूं। अभिषेक सुधीर ने बहुत अच्छे तरीके से कहा, मुझसे बेहतर उन्होंने आर्टिकुलेट किया। एक बार तीनों कांग्रेस, एसपी और तौसीफ जी ऑफिशियली बोल दे वी आर फॉर द SC/ST रिजर्वेशन इन ANU एंड जामिया। एक बार ऑफिशियली बोल दे।
No, the biggest class that is drawn in any community is money.
मुस्लिम में जाति का
class,
ये
the
बताओ
class
मियां
of
पहले।
haves and have not. गरीबों गरीब
जाति का है मुस्लिम में,
और वही सबसे बड़ा जात है। जो गरीब है वही सबसे बड़ा जात है। They are unrepresented.
तो
And why they are unrepresented? Because BJP does not
then Muslims should be given quota in EWS category, not in OBC category and not SC/ST groups.
Exactly.
That is what the court has said.
Commission is not.
That is what happened in Karnataka. Nobody is denying that Muslims are deprived.
And there's not even for all these years there was not even a national minority, even minority minister BJP government had not given for all these years.
Tausif,
The
may I just
National
intervene 10
Minority
seconds?
Commission was not even functional for all these years.
Sir, let's not talk about processes and commissions because none other than the High Court has said what happened in West Bengal. The TMC conducted a facile exercise. You gave OBC status to Muslim communities who hadn't even applied for it. Four other Muslim subcategories were given OBC status within 24 hours of them applying. One of them got it even without applying. So let's not talk about due processes, sir.
No, please don't speak over me. Please be decent. You have been to the BJP panelists. Now you see, it is a fact. From last 10 years, the National Minority Commission has been unoperational, and BJP has attacked all national minority institutes run by Muslims, madrasas, big madrasas. Even Uttar Pradesh is the biggest example where Supreme Court had to intervene and reverse the order of the UP government. Therefore, please let us stay truthful. It is a fact that BJP attacks Muslim. Our lone Congress leader who has said that Muslims should be represented in order for the country to prosper, 30% of its population cannot be ignored. And this equal opportunity should be given to the Muslims. And now anyone BJP is trying to
now we are getting into a loop. Everybody has heard these arguments before as well. But Abhishek, Sudhir, let me get you in on a different perspective now. Do you think that Congress has been caught between a hill and a hard place when it is trying to balance its caste census pitch with its minority appeasement, and now it does not know in this balancing act where does it stand actually? Or is it just a foot in the mouth and off-the-cuff remark by Digvijay Singh and not a long-stated policy or well-thought-out policy of the Congress party?
Look, Digvijay Singh is Mr. Foot in the Mouth, but Digvijay Singh is a Rajya Sabha member. Digvijay Singh is a former Chief Minister of the Congress. How much ever Jairam Ramesh might distance the Congress party from the remarks of Digvijay Singh, he continues to be rewarded much like Sam Petroda. Look, what Shehzad said was absolutely correct. This is Dalit versus Muslim. This will become Hindu versus Muslim because of the Indira Sahni judgment of 1992. Reservations cannot cross 50%. SC, ST, OBC reservation is already at 50%. If you are to give Muslims reservation at the central level, the federal national level, you have to eat into the reservations of the Hindu, SC, ST, OBCs and give it to the Muslims. And I absolutely 100% endorse his point. The very reason that conversions take place in India, we are told, to Christianity or Islam away from Hinduism is to escape caste discrimination. And then you insist on caste discrimination. Then what Himanta Biswa Sarma is saying in Assam is he wants to do a caste census in Assam. They shouldn't oppose that. He wants to do a caste census of Muslims. If I may just rely on some anecdotal evidence before wrapping up. We have had multiple Muslim presidents and vice presidents, right? We had Fakhruddin Ali, we had, Hamid Ansari, who was vice president. We've had APJ Abdul Kalam, who was a president. We've had Azharuddin, who was a Muslim and Indian captain. Current India under-19 captain is a young Muslim boy. The top actors in this country are Muslims. Arey bhai, kyahan suppression hai? Yes, literacy rates are down. That's because they keep voting for you fools again and again. I've also done the bidding of you guys.
Let's keep our language civil, Abhishek. Now your arguments are strong enough. We don't have to dilute the arguments with the offensive words.
It's not it's unparliamentary but not abusive.
It's unnecessary. Let's just keep it at that.
Abusive, but I too now, But I've seen the light. At the end of the day, Muslims are a part of our public life. Urfi Javed is celebrated like Kangana Ranaut. We don't make a difference between the two. In Pakistan, if you're an Ahmadiyya, you're not even a citizen. There was a Nobel Peace Prize winner from Pakistan who was an Ahmadiyya.
Okay.
Indira Gandhi honored him first in India before he was honored in Pakistan.
Okay. Lokesh Jindal, do you think that in walking this tightrope, in this balancing act, Congress might be suffering because it cannot find the balance?
I would like to make a point here. My dear friend is giving examples of Shah Rukh Khan, Salman Khan, Urfi Javed, I don't know what all. But sir, these few examples, you cannot ignore the large section of the population who are living in below poverty line, who do not have access to education.
Nobody is ignoring that. It's just a question of one versus the other, sir.
No, there was this person, he drew a illogical parallel. He quoted a 50% ceiling of the Indira Sahni case. But then he did not tell us about what were the other observations made during that particular judgment.
Actually,
It was now 50% ceiling cannot be referred to as an excuse to keep a large section of the population deprived
it's
from
very
their
interesting that you
social and
mentioned that
educational
because that's what I was
No, the
coming to
directive
next. Shehzad
principle of
Poonawalla,
state policy.
Digvijay Singh is not saying that it should be A versus B. Rahul Gandhi is already talking about and promising breaking the 50% quota ceiling. So they might make reservations higher and both Muslims and SC/STs might get more government jobs.
That guarantee of Rahul Gandhi has lesser value than a good sold in Chor Bazaar. Let me tell you why. Because the Indira Sahni judgment came when there was a Congress government in place. They had a 2004 to 14 government. Why didn't they break it then? If it was possible to do it, they could have broken it, put it in the 9th schedule, put in any schedule they wanted. Why didn't they do it? Secondly, or is it now dawned upon them? Secondly, the Indira Sahni judgment also says you can't make religion as the basis of reservation. And thirdly, Baba Saheb Ambedkarji's constitution is very sacrosanct about all these points. But I have another question to ask. Who is saying don't do things for poor Muslims? We tell you approach them as poor, not as Muslims. And therefore, I give you the first example of Gujarat Muslims, their share in public sector occupation, and Bengal 25% Muslims, only 2% share in public sector jobs. Who is responsible for that?
Lokesh, quick answer and then I really need to wrap this up. Last word to you.
Shehzad, you know, there is an old proverb. There is something called white lies and then there is statistics. Now, the kind of lies you are portraying with the help of some statistical data is something which is absolutely unacceptable, because the grassroots reality has been that there is a large section of Muslim population with respect to gross enrollment ratio, with respect to the Muslims who are undergraduates, with respect to their representation in public employment, with respect to their representation in the assemblies. Everywhere we see that these are not represented adequately and they are not able to enjoy the very rights.
I see both
which is
Shehzad and
provided to
Abhishek
them in the Constitution of India.
really keen on responding to that. Abhishek, you go first, then Shehzad. Yes, Abhishek.
Look, statistics don't lie. I don't know about white lies and black lies, but statistics don't lie, right? Data is data. Look, all I will say is that after the mandate of 2024, there is going to be a clear push now to bring in reservations for Muslims. If you open the door for reservation on religious grounds, you're opening up a constitutional Pandora's box. Indira Sahni was a 9-bench constitutional judgment. A 9-bench constitutional judgment overrules all other pronouncements. At the end of the day, if the Congress is going to increase the 50% cap on reservations, the Supreme Court will strike it down as unconstitutional. The Congress, with its legal luminaries, knows this fact. But they will still peddle these lies and they will peddle these false hopes to the Muslims of India for their votes. At the end of the day, the Congress party, the Samajwadi party, the India bloc has let down the Muslims of India. They want to keep them poor, they want to keep them uneducated so that they keep voting for them. At the end of the day, if they decide to give Modi Baijan a chance, at the end of the day, things might change for them because at least the government schemes don't discriminate. Houses are built for Muslims too, right? Ujjwala is for Muslims too. Rations are for Muslims too. Electrification is for Muslim villages too, right? From the top to the bottom, at the end of the day, if you don't vote for a political party and that party is still delivering for you as far as government schemes are concerned, then what else can you complain of? Keep voting for the same people you voted for 7 or 8 decades.
It's more about what one says for the cameras and at the political rallies and what one does after they actually come into a position of power and are capable of implementing their promises, because Akhilesh Katiyar, the data suggests that we have that, the Congress, the SP, the TMC, all of them in the INDIA bloc have increasingly given tickets to lesser and lesser Muslims. Today, Rashid Alvi, as a counter to what Digvijay Singh says, comes out and says that, why just only in government jobs Muslims are not being represented even in the assemblies, in the parliaments. If parties like the TMC, the Congress, the SP, they do not give tickets to enough number of people. And why I'm only citing these parties and not the BJP? Because you are the ones who claim to be the flag bearers of rights for minorities, especially Muslims. How are they going to be represented fairly? We'll start with Akhilesh and then we'll take it to Tausif and Lokesh.
हम दो बात इस पे जो आपका कहना है कि इनका प्रतिनिधित्व, उनकी हिस्सेदारी बराबर नहीं होती, आरएसएस के एजेंडे में ना दलित आते हैं ना मुसलमान
अरे सर,
आते
आप
हैं।
आरएसएस की बात छोड़िए ना,
जब भी उनकी हिस्सेदारी देने की बात
समाजवादी
आती है,
पार्टी का टिकट तो समाजवादी पार्टी देती है
सुन
ना,
लीजिए
आपके
ना, बात
नेमसेक
तो बोलने
अखिलेश जी
दीजिए
देते हैं
मुझे
ना,
पूरी बात
4
अपनी।
कैंडिडेट थे, 4।
आप मुझे बात अपनी कहने देना। अब आप मुझे बोलने तो दो 1 मिनट।
सर मेरा तो सवाल ही इसीलिए
आपके
ताकि आप
इस
बोले।
एजेंडे में पिछले 10 साल से बीजेपी की सरकार है। बीजेपी सरकार ने इस तबके के विकास के लिए क्या किया है, जरा वो भी बता दे भारतीय
मैंने
जनता
बोला
पार्टी के
कुछ
लिए।
नहीं किया।
हम किसको
ठीक
कितना
है?
हिस्सेदारी देते
For
हैं, कम
argument's
देते हैं,
sake,
ज्यादा
I am
देते हैं,
saying
हम
कुछ
उनकी
नहीं किया।
नीतियों पे,
आपने क्या
उनकी
किया?
जरूरतों पे, उनके
आपने
विकास के लिए
4 लोगों को टिकट दिया था 2024 के लोकसभा इलेक्शन में, 4 मुस्लिम्स,
हम सिर्फ मुस्लिम
8 या 9 तो सिर्फ समाजवादी यादव परिवार के लोग थे।
हम हर वर्ग के लिए बात करते हैं।
नहीं करते ना सर, पीडीए हर वर्ग नहीं होता है ना, पीडीए में बहुत ही प्रोमिनेंट अल्पसंख्यक होता है। एमवाई की तो मैं बात भी नहीं कर रही हूं, मैं तो आपके नए फॉर्मूला की बात कर रही हूं।
जब बात की है वो मुस्लिम, मेरे नेता जो है अखिलेश जी मुस्लिम समाज के विकास की कैसी नीतियां होनी चाहिए उस पर लगातार बात करते हैं, दलितों के लिए बात करते हैं।
सर प्रॉब्लम वही है ना, सिर्फ बात करते हैं, काम नहीं करते हैं।
बट लोगों ने अपनी जिम्मेदारी नहीं निभाई।
सर जिन्होंने जिम्मेदारी नहीं निभाई ना वो आपकी अपनी पार्टी के लोग हैं। बट लेट मी ब्रिंग दैट टू द कांग्रेस। द डेटा इन फ्रंट ऑफ मी सजेस्ट दैट कांग्रेस ने 2024 में 19 मुस्लिम कैंडिडेट्स फील्ड किए हैं, विच इज हाफ ऑफ द नंबर ऑफ कैंडिडेट्स फील्डेड इन 2019। लोकेश जिंदल, बातें करना बहुत आसान है, आप बोलेंगे आप 50% सीलिंग तोड़ देंगे, आप SC/ST के लिए कास्ट सेंसस कराएंगे, देन दिग्विजय सिंह comes out and says that Muslims should get more jobs, not SC/STs. When it comes to implementation of welfare, you have only 19 tickets given to the Muslims. How does voter trust you? How do people trust you?
A congressman, when he represents the public, he is not seeking votes on the religion card. He is not someone who is seeking votes that pitting Muslims against the Hindus or not considering
No, because
Muslims
your
as
new formula is
a
caste card.
person of the Indian citizen. So when I'm talking about bringing about polarization, this is something which is not the Congress realm of politics.
Yes.
This is something which BJP adheres
Mandal,
to. And you should be
Mandal, you
asking
left for
this
them. Your
question.
politics is Mandal. I'm not even talking about religion, sir. I'm talking about
No,
caste.
what I'm saying is the politics of Mandal is not that of a choice, it's a necessity. When I'm talking about the socially and economically deprived section of society, now the person before me was talking about the government is giving that to them, the government is giving this to them. The government is nowhere doing any form of a favor. It's the government's duty, and every citizen is entitled to all these basic rights.
All right, I'm really
What
sorry,
I'm
gentlemen.
saying
I've completely run out of time. Sorry, Shahzad, as well. I know you want to make a point, but I have absolutely no time. Thank you, everyone, for joining us in this debate. The final conclusion remains that it doesn't matter what you say, what you assert at the hustings. It matters what you deliver. And it is this delivery that is going to make a change, no matter what the political assertions are. That's all we have.